well. But it's that warm glow that we wanted people to feel with these books. They're a celebration of home arts, they're a celebration of domestic arts, they're books of enjoyment, and hopefully what we want is for them to be enduring. So the book that launched the imprint and of course has become the iconic book is The Cook's Companion. Interestingly, of course, with a painting on the cover, beautiful Matthew Johnson painting, not a food image. Maggie's Harvest, which was designed by Daniel New, who's sitting in front of me. And this is a book that many people speak of fondly because it's got a physical, I'm going to pass this around so you can all have a play with it. It's got a padded, embroidered cover on it, and it became quite special when it was published. People really responded to the tactility of this, and we sold an extraordinary number of copies. Maggie had never sold the number of books before that she had before this book. People really, I guess, thought that it was something that was worth keeping, and that was what was so exciting. The Art of Pasta, this was about 18 months ago, and a lovely, lovely experience making this book because it became very three-dimensional in the studio, and Anson Smart took the photographs, and Lucio is very, very good friends with Luke Scaveris, and said, "Oh, Luke, just come on the shoot and see if you might want to draw something." And what ended up happening was that Luke was painting as the food was being cooked, and the food was being placed on Luke's paintings. It was this very, very exciting, energetic collaboration that you couldn't art direct. You just had to let it go, and magic happened. There's a lot of other titles which you might recognise, and there's the Frost designed cover of French. I remember saying to Vince, "You are not allowed to use that Martha Fitzjames image, you've got to use something else." And of course he did such a compelling design with it, how could we do anything else? Yeah. It's a wonderful, wonderful cover. Beautiful photography from Carla Coulson. That's been an incredibly successful book. It's sold editions around the world. Evie Otomo, the designer of this book, is also in the room tonight, and Evie is Young Designer of the Year, and this book, Things I Love, just won Book of the Year in the Book Design Awards, so we're very proud of that. What Katie Ate, that was a book that we found from a blog. I'm sure some of you know that blog. And there's just another spread of various titles that some of you might recognise. This is a collection of cookery classics that we've done, and the interesting point about these is that it became very apparent after the demise of Angus and Robertson Bookworld chain and Borders that the biggest customer for the books that I produce is actually Big W. So that was a big shift to go from Borders and Angus and Robertson being my biggest customer to a discount store. So it changes the nature of what you're publishing, and we've put this collection of books together to put out more in that mass market, and I'm pleased to say they've done really well. This is a picture I thought you might rather enjoy of what happened in the factory when they were putting Maggie's Harvest together. And the printers say that they've never enjoyed a job as much, and they've never been pushed by a job as much. But what I love about this is that in producing, and we printed, I can't remember how many we printed, I think it was 70,000 copies. This was back in the golden days of publishing, when there wasn't so much competition, and everyone was very happy to spend quite a bit of money on books. It was a huge print run, and these books were all assembled by hand. It's getting tougher. Relationships are golden in the process of what I do. Relationships with people like Gibbs, who is a muse of mine. There are some of you in the room that I've worked with in the past. Very important, our relationships. And this is a shot of our Lantern World. It's my office, and then in the design studio, which is just up the street in Commonwealth Street. The challenges for Lantern are enormous. The sales are definitely shrinking. It's getting tougher. The costs are up. Rental wages keep climbing. Recommended retail prices are down, which is great for consumers, but it just makes it harder to produce those projects to quite the same level. The prices that we used to charge, we used to be able to get $80 and $60 for books. Now the retail prices are $40 and $50. Again, great for the consumer, but just a bit harder for us to deliver that same high standard of photography and illustration on lower budgets. The other challenge is that there are more choices than ever for how to spend our precious leisure time, and books are competing with all of these forums, and I'm sure you would all agree that part of your day is spent somewhere here, and probably not as much as it might have been in the past with books. Discoverability is a really, really big challenge for us. How are our readers going to find out that we've produced these beautiful books? We used to be able to rely on you wandering into Waters and Angus and Robertson, seeing those big stacks of books out there. Oh my God, they've done that. Oh my God, they've done that. You could physically see what was on offer. And of course, the loss of that real estate has meant that it is much harder for people to discover what's going on. That's a screen grab from Goodreads, which has been a very successful website for readers to discover new writers according to the book. They can feed in the writers that they've enjoyed, and then other suggestions are made. Interestingly, it's just been bought by Amazon. So, yeah. And that's Google, of course, where according to your topic or price point, books are being suggested to you, and we all know that any site where we're going to buy books are going to be suggesting things according to the choices or the inquiries we've made in the past. The other challenge is that everyone's been guilty of over-publishing. I think that particularly in the Australian market, publishing houses have thought, oh God, they're making a bit of money out of that, those books, we better get on board. So for what I do, there's never been greater competition, and that of course dilutes the numbers of sales. And the other thing that's happening is that the big things are bigger than ever. And last Christmas, Jamie Oliver, like that, sold 400,000 copies of that book. So that took a lot of oxygen out of the rest of the book trade, particularly for any other non-fiction books. People were just going into the store, buying that and marching straight out again, and they were buying them in multiples. Now, luckily for us, it was a penguin book, and one thing did really well, and the others didn't do quite as well. But everybody in the trade suffered as a result of that. And of course, the same thing happened with 50 Shades of Grey, that people were just buying that book and they were not going near anything else that was being published at the time. And this is increasing, this phenomenon of the big being bigger and then it falling away. So that's a challenge for us. You know, of course, my executives are saying, Jules, you've got to just find the big new Jamie. You know, it's this treadmill that we're on. Another challenge is free recipes galore. Whatever you want to cook now, all you need to do is Google it. Previously, we would browse our shelf of books and look in the index and flick through, and we would have flagged things. Now, I'm sure we're all Googling before we go to our bookshelf collection. So that's a challenge, especially the fact that people want free content. So what are we doing about this as an industry? We're doing some things. This is a wonderful promotion that they've been doing in the UK called World Book Night, where the publishers and the authors are actually contributing to, you know, tens and hundreds of thousands of free books being handed out one night a year. And there's quite a rigorous selection process, and the authors forego their usual royalty, and the publishers and the printers help and the publishers help, where all these free books are being disseminated, and it's been very successful. In Australia, we have a promotion every year called Goodreads, where a brochure is produced. You can go into the store, and if you buy one of the books in the brochure, you also get a free book. So there are a lot of industry things going on to try to keep books at the forefront. There is a website called Eat Love, which Penguin is just about to be involved in. This was started actually by Matt Hanbury, who has sold Murdoch books now, but he could see that, he and his people could see that with all the Googling of recipes, that we needed to be leading people back to the actual cookbooks. So that's what this website does. They give the consumer lots of free recipes, but always alongside it is the picture of the book and the possibility that you could also buy that whole cookery collection. Many are writing about this. Read to them. This is a wonderful article that's in this edition of Apartamento about the sacrosanct nature of the physical book, which I really enjoyed reading recently. And some of you might know this book. This is a bit of a Bible. That wonderful book by Umberto Eco, who declares that the book will never die. I truly believe that too. So what are we doing at Lantern? This is our beautiful website, deFrost designed website. A lot of care and attention and thought. Some very inspiring meetings were held in this office over the production of this website. And what we've done is we've really tried to assist with the browsing experience so that you can see inside books. There's a lot of added editorial content, that there is an experience that you can have by visiting the site and hopefully think, yes, whoever I'm going to buy this book for would really enjoy that. You can also buy direct from this website, and that's something that evolved. We decided that that was a service that we had to offer people. Other things that we're doing, it just makes you do what you do even better. I'll share this with you, I'll send this round too. This arrived from the printer yesterday, and this is just an unashamed kind of ode to cookbook publishing. This is Guy Grossi's love letter to Italy, to the producers in Italy, and this comes out this Christmas. It's a book about travelling around Italy, about visiting the producers and celebrating what we all love about Italy. And I can't imagine having this experience in any other way but the ink and the paper and the images. So send that around. We have a book coming from Colette Dinnigan this Christmas, which has been very exciting. And of course, Colette wanted her book to be as incredibly as gorgeous as one of her frocks. So there's a fabric cover, there's a very beautiful ribbon marker, there's a limited edition that comes with a silk scarf. Every detail has been carefully gone over. The cover, we have done, I think, probably 50 print tests to get that colour pink right on the cloth. I was running around New York 3 weeks ago chasing Colette as she was working there, trying to get her to approve this colour pink. And a lot of painstaking work's gone into that, and it's a very special book for these lifestyle books. One thing I've been doing personally about spreading the book love is running a book club on Instagram, and it's been quite interesting. 2 nights ago I put up a post telling people that I was giving this talk and asking for their thoughts, and there was an avalanche of book love. I think I had 100 comments within 2 hours. It was extraordinary, and such passionate comments about the book will never die, I can't tell you what they mean to me, I must read books to my children, I have a Kindle, but it's the physical thing that endures. But 4 hours later, after I'd read through all this, the whole post disappeared. It's gone. I know, it's weird, it's gone. I do not know what to make of it. I think it's a universe. Big brother. Yeah, exactly. So it's called Book Chat. The hashtag is book_chat. Once a month, I do this together with an Instagram friend that I've made in Perth, and we ask people for 1 week to post up a book on a topic. So last month we simply said, what are you reading now, which was fantastic. The month before was your favourite coffee table book. The month before that was your favourite cookbook. We had your favourite children's book, and we had the book that changed your life. So they're the 5 topics that we've covered so far. It's the most gratifying, rewarding, wonderful thing running this for a week every month. And again, there are incredible outpourings of love and affection for books and what they mean to people. This was an interesting post from Jay Reeves, who's a freelance book designer here in Sydney. And she recently showed her new Kindle on Instagram with the new David Sedaris book in store, and her caption read, "Recent Kindle convert So good to have so many books in my bag, even if it makes me redundant as a book designer. And someone replied, bummer, we all have to go digital. Hope there will be many coffee table books for you to work on. So there's some, and people go to extraordinary lengths to post their books, so they do these beautiful still lifes. We put up Penguin prizes, and the day that I usually put up the prize on a Thursday, if you contribute within this, then we get endless contributions. So with social media, sometimes you need an incentive to get people to prioritise posting that content in a day. But it has been a really eye-opening, wonderful thing for me, and also because previously there have not been ways for me to be in touch with the readers of books I produce. And now I've got this direct line to them, and that's very exciting. And also seeing what other publishers' books they enjoy. This is what other publishers are doing, other illustrated books publishers are doing. Taschen are selling online, they're selling through the trade, and they're selling from their own shops. I'm sure if you've travelled, you've been to Taschen stores in London or New York or Paris. From that website, you can buy Mario Testino's Private View limited edition. There are 1,500 signed copies, each with a lenticular cover portrait of Lady Gaga, and delivered in an injection moulded plastic box for £450. So there's some very bespoke, specific publishing going on too, which is very interesting, of really making those books very high-end objects. And Fight on Sight, it's a fantastic website and done very magazine style. And Azuline, again, another one, a bit like Taschen. Osborne and Little, I thought it was very interesting that they've just seen fit to issue Penguin paperback wallpaper. That's just gone on sale this year. And then there are sites for book lovers. One of my favourite sites is called Bookshelf Porn. I don't know if any of you know that. Completely wonderful. And I just go on and scroll through and see endless, beautiful images of books in their physical locations. And I can literally look at these for hours. That's a bookshelf of Keith Richards. Very particular about his book collection. It's hard to imagine those physical spaces disappearing, isn't it? Did anyone bring a book? I asked you to bring favourite books. Good. I'll be talking to them in a minute. I thought I'd just show you a few of my favourite books. This is a book that Ian found for me. I'd seen it years ago when I was book selling and I'd forgotten all about it. And does anyone know this book, An Exaltation of Larks? It's a really wonderful, eccentric English book of collectives. So he has decided that the collective of larks, the multiple of larks, is an exaltation. And it goes through endless, ridiculous situations with drawings on collectives. It's quite fun. This is a book that I deeply love, and it was published by Thames Hudson probably over 20 years ago. I can't quite remember the year. And it's about the actor Derek Jarman's incredible garden built within sight of a nuclear power station in England. And it expresses all the limitations of growing in that kind of environment. And he was very ill when he was writing this book. There's something very life-affirming about it. The other thing was that it's very small in format, and it showed me that an illustrated book didn't need to be this big, heavy $100 thing, that you could produce a small and very intimate experience for people. This is a company called Canal House, who self-publish cookbooks in America, and one of the authors is a photographer, Christopher Goodmeyer, who's done a lot of very beautiful American food photography. And I subscribe to these. They have a linen cover, and I love it when they come in the mail. And I think they're up to about number 9, very beautiful, fresh recipes. But the interesting model for them is that they have sort of subscription basis, so that you cannot get these through bookstores. But they have just published a kind of compendium of the best of the recipes, and that's gone out through the general trade. So there's a mixture of a publishing subscription model, personally getting straight to the readers, and then also doing a best of through a conventional trade publishing house. Does anyone know this book? This wonderful Ilse Crawford book, Home is Where the Heart Is. It's a design book. The end papers, when you open up the book, you immediately are thrown into a big bookshelf, and Ilse celebrates her own beautiful apartment, very small apartment in London, and the whole thing is centred around her bookshelves, and that's what she thinks is very important to design. And that's another favourite book for obvious reasons. More books do furnish a room. So there we are. That's another one of the beautiful odes to an old book. I want to stop there, because I think you've had enough of me. I really deeply believe books will endure. I think it's a case of us all continuing to love them, continuing to celebrate them, and continuing to buy them, remembering them as gifts, treasuring them, sharing them with our children, and also working out when the physical book is the best thing and when the electronic book is the best thing. I don't mind which form you buy them in, just continue to make books a part of your life. I'd very much like to thank Vince for the opportunity to talk to you tonight. And I have a present for you, Vince.
Oh.
And it's a present that I think everyone in this room might attack you for. You have to open it and I'll tell you what it is.
Thank you.
It has fine printed paper.
Chew my nails.
This is what we call a book proof. So this is an advance pre-reading copy that we give to the book trade. We don't do them very often, they're costly. And this is a proof of the new Tim Winter novel, Eerie. And you could already sell that on eBay for quite a bit.
Scan it.
Yeah. Highly sought after. So,
Thank you so much.